Love. It's a word that stirs our deepest emotions, a dream so many of us chase relentlessly. We're told it's the ultimate source of happiness, the missing piece that will complete us, the reward for a life well lived. But what happens when the pursuit of love becomes an endless cycle of disappointment, insecurity, and self-doubt? Imagine this. You're constantly looking outward, searching for someone to fill a void that feels unfillable. You bend, compromise, and sometimes break, all in the name of being loved. And yet, the harder you chase, the further true happiness seems to slip away. This isn't just a personal struggle, it's a cultural trap. Everywhere we turn, we're bombarded with messages that equate romantic success with life success. We believe that without love, we're incomplete. But the truth, as the Stoics teach us, is far more liberating. Stoicism challenges us to rethink love, not as something we chase, but as something that flourishes naturally when we live a life of virtue, purpose, and self-mastery. Instead of yearning for external validation, Stoicism asks us to find strength within, to build a life so fulfilling that love becomes a complement rather than a necessity. In this video, we'll explore how to free yourself from the cycle of chasing love, embrace your own worth, and cultivate a happiness that doesn't depend on anyone else. Because the key to true love and true happiness might just begin with letting go of the chase. The illusion of love as a goal. From the moment we are old enough to understand stories, we are taught that love is the ultimate prize. Fairy tales end with weddings as if they are the pinnacle of happiness. Movies celebrate grand gestures and soulmates as if finding the one is life's ultimate mission. Even well-meaning advice from family and friends often reinforces this belief. Find love and you will find fulfillment. But have you ever paused to question this narrative? What if this pursuit of love, so deeply ingrained in us, is a flawed and damaging quest? Stoic philosophy urges us to examine these assumptions. When we treat love as a goal, we reduce it to something external, something outside our control. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic thinkers, reminds us, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." This wisdom challenges us to see that basing our happiness on anything external, whether it's a person, a status, or an achievement, is to build our emotional stability on shaky ground. Consider this. When love becomes a goal, it transforms into a kind of obsession. You may find yourself constantly scanning for potential partners, bending your values to fit someone else's expectations, or even losing sight of your own goals in the hope of being loved. In this state, your self-worth becomes tied to whether someone else validates you, and your sense of happiness becomes as unpredictable as the weather. Chasing love often mirrors chasing the wind. The harder you run, the further it seems to slip from your grasp. Why? Because the problem isn't with love itself, but with the act of chasing. When we make love the center of our lives, we abandon the principles of self-control and inner peace. Instead, we allow ourselves to be ruled by desires that are fleeting, unpredictable, and beyond our influence. The Stoics viewed this kind of dependency as a form of slavery, being a prisoner of passions and external validations. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This means that the fulfillment we often seek in love can only truly be found within ourselves. Imagine standing in a storm, holding tightly to an umbrella that keeps being blown out of your hands. The harder you grip, the more the wind rips at it. This is what chasing love feels like. A desperate struggle for control over something inherently uncontrollable. But what if you stopped fighting the storm? What if you let go of the umbrella and simply embraced the rain? This shift, from clinging to chasing love to embracing life as it is, lies at the heart of Stoic wisdom. By focusing inward on our virtues, our actions, and our ability to live with integrity, we free ourselves from the constant need for external validation. Love then stops being a desperate pursuit and starts becoming a natural byproduct of a balanced, virtuous life. It's not about rejecting love, but rejecting the chase. A life rooted in inner strength and purpose doesn't demand love, it attracts it, effortlessly and without desperation. This shift is not easy, but it is profoundly liberating. Because when you stop chasing, you realize that happiness is not a prize to be won, it is a state to be cultivated within. Understanding what love truly is. To free yourself from the exhausting pursuit of love, you must first redefine what love truly means. The Stoics saw love not as a fleeting passion or an emotional high, but as something rooted in reason and virtue. Love, in their eyes, was an expression of mutual respect, shared values, and a commitment to growth, not blind infatuation or dependence. Modern society often glorifies the idea of falling in love, a phrase that implies a loss of control, as though love is something that happens to us, like an accident. This view promotes the idea that love is an uncontrollable force, something that sweeps us away, leaving us powerless. But to the Stoics, love should never be about losing oneself. Instead, it should be a deliberate, conscious choice, a connection that enriches life without compromising one's identity or purpose. Imagine love as a fire. When contained and guided, it provides warmth, light, and comfort. But when it burns out of control, it consumes everything in its path, leaving destruction in its wake. Many people mistake the wild, uncontrollable blaze of passion for love, only to be left with ashes when the fire burns out. The Stoic approach teaches us to cultivate the steady, enduring flame, a love that warms without overwhelming, that complements rather than consumes. This understanding begins with self-awareness. Before you can build a meaningful connection with another person, you must first understand your own values, strengths, and weaknesses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." If you are at war with yourself, if you are unsure of your worth, constantly seeking external validation, or driven by fear, you cannot expect to find peace in a relationship. Many relationships fail not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of understanding of oneself and of the true nature of love. When you view love through the lens of Stoicism, it becomes clear that love is not about finding someone to complete you. It is about building a connection that complements the life you are already living. This shift in perspective frees you from the desperation of searching for love and allows you to approach relationships from a place of strength and clarity. Consider the words of Epictetus. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This advice applies to love as well. Before seeking love from others, define the kind of person you want to be. Cultivate the virtues of patience, kindness, and self-discipline. Build a life that reflects your values and brings you joy. When you do this, the love you attract will be aligned with who you truly are, not with the mask you wear while chasing approval. The Stoics believed that love, like any other aspect of life, should be governed by reason and guided by virtue. It should not be a chaotic force that controls you, but a harmonious partnership that enhances your journey. By understanding what love truly is and what it is not, you can approach relationships with wisdom and integrity, free from the illusions and expectations that so often lead to heartbreak. The role of self-love in finding happiness. Before you can truly experience meaningful love with another person, you must first cultivate love for yourself. Self-love is not arrogance or selfishness. It is the foundation of a fulfilling and resilient life. The Stoics remind us that happiness and strength come from within, and the ability to love others starts with understanding and accepting yourself. In modern society, self-love is often misunderstood. People mistake it for self-indulgence or superficial affirmations. But Stoic self-love is rooted in virtue and self-respect. It's about knowing your worth, setting boundaries, and living in alignment with your values. It's about treating yourself as you would treat a dear friend, with compassion, honesty, and care. Imagine a man who constantly seeks the approval of others. He sacrifices his time, energy, and values in an effort to please, hoping that love will be his reward. Yet this behavior often drives people away, not closer. Why? Because desperation is not attractive. Strength and self-assurance are. The Stoics understood this dynamic well. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" This question forces us to confront the ways we neglect our own needs and priorities in the pursuit of love. Self-love begins with self-knowledge. Take the time to reflect on your strengths, weaknesses, and aspirations. What do you truly value? What kind of life do you want to live? The Stoics emphasize the importance of daily self-examination. At the end of each day, ask yourself, as Seneca advised, what bad habit have you cured today? What fault have you resisted? What virtue have you acquired? This practice helps you align your actions with your values, creating a life that is worth loving. When you build a life of purpose and virtue, you develop a sense of inner stability that no external relationship can shake. You no longer look to others to fill a void, because you have cultivated a sense of wholeness within yourself. This does not mean you reject love or relationships. It means you approach them from a place of abundance, not lack. You are no longer seeking someone to complete you. Instead, you are sharing your completeness with another. The Stoics also taught us the importance of self-compassion. Mistakes and failures are inevitable, but they are also opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill, just like a soldier on the wall of battle. So what if you are injured and can't climb up without another's help?" Loving yourself means accepting your imperfections and being patient with your progress. Consider this: when you truly love and respect yourself, you set the standard for how others treat you. You no longer tolerate relationships that drain your energy or compromise your values. You attract people who appreciate your authenticity and share your vision for life. Self-love is not a destination, it is a practice, a daily commitment to living in harmony with yourself. It is the cornerstone of happiness and the key to forming healthy, lasting relationships. When you stop seeking validation from others and start building a life of virtue and purpose, you unlock the ability to love and be loved in a way that is free from desperation and fear. The Stoic art of accepting and letting go. Love, like all things in life, is impermanent. People enter and leave our lives. Relationships change, and the feelings we once thought would last forever can fade. This reality can be painful, but it is also an essential part of being human. The Stoics teach us that the key to navigating love and life itself is learning to accept what is outside our control and letting go of what no longer serves us. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the concept of amor fati, a love of one's fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." This principle invites us to embrace life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. When applied to love, it means accepting the natural ebb and flow of relationships without clinging to the past or fearing the future. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip it, the more it slips through your fingers. Love works the same way. When we try to control or possess it, we often lose the very thing we are trying to hold on to. But when we approach love with an open hand, with acceptance and trust, we allow it to exist freely in its most genuine form. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about recognizing what is beyond your influence. Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. If a relationship ends, it does not mean you have failed or that love has abandoned you. It simply means that the chapter has closed, making space for new growth. This perspective is especially powerful when dealing with heartbreak. The pain of loss can feel overwhelming, as if a part of you has been taken away. But the Stoics remind us that pain, like all emotions, is temporary. It is not the event itself that causes our suffering, but our judgment of it. By reframing the experience, seeing it as a lesson rather than a loss, we can begin to heal and move forward. Acceptance also applies to the flaws and imperfections of those we love. No one is perfect, and expecting perfection from a partner is a recipe for disappointment. Seneca wrote, "If you would be loved, love." This means loving others not for who we wish them to be, but for who they are. Acceptance does not mean tolerating harmful behavior, but it does mean letting go of unrealistic expectations and embracing the humanity of those we care about. To let go is to trust in the natural order of things. The Stoics believed that the universe operates according to a rational and benevolent design. When something leaves your life, it is not a punishment, but part of a larger pattern that you may not yet understand. Trusting this process allows you to release the need for control and find peace in the present moment. Letting go is also an act of self-respect. When a relationship no longer aligns with your values or brings you joy, holding on to it out of fear or obligation only prolongs your suffering. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The courage to let go comes from knowing that your happiness does not depend on anyone else. Ultimately, the Stoic art of accepting and letting go is about freedom. It is the freedom to love without attachment, to experience life without fear, and to embrace change without resistance. When you let go of what you cannot control, you open yourself to the possibilities of what might come next. Love is part of a virtuous and purposeful life. For the Stoics, love was never meant to dominate one's existence. Rather, it was seen as a harmonious component of a life guided by virtue and purpose. When we shift our focus from chasing love to cultivating a virtuous life, love ceases to be a desperate pursuit and becomes a natural and fulfilling part of our journey. The foundation of Stoic philosophy is the pursuit of virtue, the qualities of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." When we live in alignment with these principles, we create a life that is not only meaningful but also deeply attractive to others. Love, in this context, is not the goal, but the reward for living authentically and virtuously. Imagine a man who devotes himself to his passions and values. He is not preoccupied with finding love because his life is already full, rich with purpose, personal growth, and meaningful connections. His confidence and self-respect come not from external validation, but from his inner sense of integrity. This man does not chase love, yet he draws it to him, because people are naturally drawn to those who live with purpose and strength. In contrast, consider someone who makes love the center of their existence. They neglect their own goals and compromise their values in an attempt to win affection. This imbalance leads to dependency, frustration, and ultimately disappointment. The Stoics remind us that a life built on external desires is like a house built on sand, unstable and easily destroyed. When love is integrated into a life of virtue, it becomes a source of strength rather than a source of instability. In such relationships, both partners are committed to helping each other grow, not just emotionally, but also morally and intellectually. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." A true partnership, according to Stoicism, is one in which both individuals encourage each other to live virtuously and pursue their highest potential. This perspective shifts the way we view love. Instead of asking, "How can I find love?" the Stoic asks, "How can I become the kind of person who naturally attracts love?" The answer lies in self-improvement, not for the sake of impressing others, but for the sake of living a good and meaningful life. When you focus on your own growth, you create the conditions for a relationship that is built on mutual respect and shared values. Love, when approached in this way, is not a distraction from your goals, but a complement to them. It becomes a partnership rooted in trust, honesty, and a shared commitment to living well. This kind of love does not demand sacrifice at the expense of your individuality, but celebrates and strengthens it. Moreover, a life guided by virtue allows you to approach love with a sense of gratitude rather than entitlement. The Stoics teach us to be grateful for what we have without clinging to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude transforms love from a source of anxiety into a source of joy. Ultimately, love is not the end goal of life, but a beautiful aspect of a life well lived. When guided by Stoic principles, it enriches our journey without overshadowing our purpose. By focusing on virtue and self-improvement, we create the space for love to enter our lives naturally, not as a prize to be won, but as a gift to be cherished. The Stoics understood a profound truth about life. Happiness does not come from chasing external things, whether wealth, power, or love. Instead, it comes from living in harmony with your values, embracing what you can control, and letting go of what you cannot. Love, when pursued obsessively or for the wrong reasons, becomes a burden rather than a joy. But when approached with wisdom and virtue, it becomes a natural and enriching part of life. To stop chasing love, you must first realize that you already have everything you need to be whole. True happiness comes from within, from the alignment of your actions with your principles. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By shifting your focus inward, toward self-improvement, self-respect, and the cultivation of virtue, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of seeking validation. Love, in its truest form, is not something to be hunted or captured. It is a connection that arises naturally when two individuals share mutual respect, values, and a commitment to growth. It is not about completing each other, but complementing each other. The Stoics remind us that the best way to find this kind of love is not to search for it, but to become the kind of person who attracts it through your actions, character, and purpose. By letting go of the need to control or possess love, you open yourself to experiencing it in its most genuine form. You learn to appreciate the people who enter your life, not as solutions to your problems, but as companions on your journey. You stop fearing loss and instead find gratitude for the moments you share. So stop chasing love, build a life of meaning, guided by virtue and filled with purpose. Love will find you when the time is right, not as a prize to be won, but as a gift to be shared. And when it does, you will be ready to embrace it, not out of desperation, but from a place of strength, clarity, and joy. Let the wisdom of the Stoics guide you toward a life of fulfillment. Love, when it comes, will be a beautiful chapter in your story, not the entire book. And in that, you will find the freedom to live happily, fully, and authentically.